aan het filmen of niet? Nou Joe, you cannot do me like this. Are we already starting bro? Yo guys, vandaag zijn we in Amsterdam, Vondelpark. Wow, ik weet eigenlijk nog niet, nu ik hier sta, of ik het in het Nederlands wil doen of in het Engels. We gaan het zien, misschien ga ik zo meteen een Engelse intro opnemen, maar... Cut. Well, I'm trying to do this way more often, make
Okay.
sure it's in my routine.
Okay. And this is your space. Sorry.
Am I too close?
No.
Oh, okay.
Like, this politics is your space.
Yes,
so-
yes.
Okay,
Well,
okay.
more than just politics. So you said you are from Australia.
Yeah.
What is Australia like currently?
Yeah. So I haven't lived in Australia for 2 years now. But one of the main things that I did move for was because I like working in a sustainability environment, and that kind of space is not really as big in Australia. I would say it's quite a conservative country. So yeah, like I think those type of issues like climate change and young people kind of coming to voice and have power, it's still a struggle in Australia. I think it's still run by quite a conservative viewpoint. There's not a lot of importance on things that we should be talking about.
How long have you been in the Netherlands for?
2 years.
Is the Netherlands currently very conservative to you, or is it very progressive compared to Australia?
I mean, coming from the view of Australia, I would say it's more progressive. But again, like I don't really know too much about. Maybe you could share. But the viewpoint of it being more progressive again is just from things like having more of a focus on sustainability and the environment, and you could tell by the importance of like social well-being. I do feel like Netherlands does a lot better than Australia in that.
How do I say this? Is there more? What are the problems that Australians then talk about, if not for what the younger generation more is interested in, other than sustainability?
Yeah, so I guess like they just kind of rehash the things that should have been kind of left in the past, like say our healthcare, kind of rehashing like things that we should all have access to healthcare. It's a little bit different in Australia. We have Medicare, which means everyone that's an Australian citizen has access to medical health. You could go to the GP for free and have some surgeries or anything, like have access to mental health as well for free. Sometimes I think they kind of talk about, maybe it feels like they're kind of like talking about these things and like going backwards, as opposed to just like looking into the future and being like, okay, we need to focus on net zero, and there needs to be funding for maybe like Aboriginal kids to do this, like have an importance on Indigenous culture. And there was a shift when I think one of our prime ministers in maybe like early 2000s had publicly apologized to our Indigenous people, the Aboriginal people. And that was a huge thing, right? Because it was acknowledgement of something that had been, something wrong has been done. But I genuinely don't think that we're still doing enough about that. So all of those things I think are lacking with Australia right now.
The same thing happened here in the Netherlands. So I'm Indonesian, and recently, I'm not sure if it was a couple of years ago, but the king of the Netherlands personally came and apologized. And even though an apology is nice publicly, there isn't anything systematically being done to move the country forward. The opinion about whether or not a lot of talking is done about talking instead of actually coming up and finding a solution for how to move all of us forward. My next question for you is, and you don't have to answer this, are there any political ideologies that you are in favor of or are against?
I don't really identify with like I don't know, myself actually, like I lean towards more spirituality, so I really find hard to like kind of really resonate with like these hardcore like concepts that we've created on our own. To be like, I do think it's like essentially like a form of division, like or like having.
Constructed religions.
Yeah, exactly. Like everything is like, hey, these are the ideologies, and if you like believe in all of these things, then you fall under this umbrella, and like you stay in this umbrella. Like, I don't know. I don't really subscribe to that. I think the way that I think right now, yeah, we're going through like similar things everywhere we are, right? So I'm Sri Lankan, right? So my parents are Sri Lankan. They're immigrants. They migrated to Australia, and I was born in Australia. But yeah, growing up in a very white country that you were always a minority, right? And you grow up always being the other. It gives you kind of a perspective of, yeah, you kind of also have to just survive, and like get to a point where you have to find your own community to feel safe, right? And I do feel like we're experiencing the same things. You know, I wouldn't say it's exactly the same, but like, you know, like how you spoke about Indonesia, and I'm sure if you go to another country, like you speak to them, like we're all going through very similar things, and we don't realize the interconnectedness of all of us.
Right.
And I think if we like kind of transcend beyond all of this, and to really realize that, yeah, like we just have to like do better to be good people.
Do you think there's a lack of empathy?
Yeah, 100%. There's already a you and me, right? And if there's a you and me, then there's no like interconnectedness. So the empathy isn't there, the understanding isn't there, like the compassion, you know, like all of those things I think we've lost along the way of like just trying to proceed, like excel in humanity, like with innovation and technology and like doing all of this. Like we've lost that sense of like human, like neighborly vibes, you know.
May I ask you, or if you could elaborate, how you got into spirituality?
Yeah, so I think so my mum was a Hindu, so she grew up with Hinduism and Catholicism, and my dad was an atheist. And I think like I always had the freedom to kind of choose my beliefs. I wasn't really forced upon anything by my parents. When I was old enough, I wanted to just like learn more about everything, and didn't really feel like I fit into one thing. And yeah, I think like spirituality is always like, it's not something that's external to anyone. I think like we're all spiritual in a sense. It's whether we like lean into it as much or not. So now I've kind of just been trying to understand myself more, trying to understand like,
Do you meditate?
I do meditate, yeah. And I try to meditate every day. I was doing it for quite some time and then kind of fell out of it. So now I'm like on my path of like going back into it. But yeah, that's a great, like for me, that's kind of a really nice way of connecting with the higher as well. It's yeah, in stillness that like a lot comes to you, you know.
Are there any other issues currently in Australia that you feel like need more attention?
Um, yeah, I guess like it kind of all ties together as well. I do think like the climate change, environment, sustainability is a huge thing, because that's really like what I believe in. But also, yeah, I guess like the divide of people, like I don't know. I do think Australia is quite a racist kind of country. I think, I don't know.
Really?
Yeah, like I've experienced a lot of racism growing up, and I know a lot of my non-white friends have also. Like it's just a normal thing, and when you come to a country like maybe Netherlands, you realize how like different it is a little bit. I don't know.
I would say the Netherlands themselves like to portray as progressive,
Uh-huh.
but growing up here, outside of the major cities,
Yeah, yeah. I could see
it's
that.
pretty racist.
Yeah, yeah. I could see that. Yeah, because I've also, you know, I have a very small view of Netherlands because I live in Amsterdam, and
Right.
it's very much a bubble, right? And
Right.
I fully understand that outside of that, you know, you have less like brown people. It's much more white dominated. So it's similar in Australia, where the cities like multiculturalism multiculturalism exists quite a lot in Australia, but everyone kind of sticks to their communities. So when you find yourself in like I often very much found myself in very white dominated spaces,
Right.
hence where the racism will kind of like be felt more. But you know, when you're within communities, you're protected from that.
Even in your workspace?
Yeah, so that's where I found the most kind of racism was and sexism was in my workspace, because I mainly worked with old white men. So
May I ask you what you do for a
yeah,
job?
so I work as a civil engineer, and I worked in railway construction. So
Yeah, okay.
so that was
There's not a many people who
no,
look like you, I
no,
would assume.
exactly. And yeah, often when you're in a position of telling other people kind of what to do as like a manager or something like that, like yeah, it's clear if they don't respect you for what you look like, or yeah, who you are. So
Are you searching specifically other places in Europe that's more in line with your values compared to Australia? Or do you think if you go back to Australia, you search for places like that there?
mm, I think like right now, I think there's an element of like wanting to experience something different to Australia, because I think like only then do you have like a full understanding, or maybe a better understanding or appreciation or gratitude for like what you do have. So I think it's not like I'm really looking for anything in particular. I'm just like open to kind of experiencing. And yeah, Netherlands, I think, like you've already said, has like so many sides to it. And
Right.
I have to really be here to, you know, experience that, talking to people, like, you know, getting that full kind of picture. So that's what I kind of see my life as doing. Just, yeah.
My final question for you is,
Yeah.
what is something? Well, you said you do you are you culturally involved in like Hinduism or not, or Sri Lanka or
Sri
anything?
Lankan culture? Yeah, kind of. Kind of.
Is there a fun fact that we should know about Sri Lanka that most people don't know?
Um, okay, maybe a fun. I don't know if this is like very fun, but like, so I used to do cultural dancing for 10 years, and it's called Bharatanatyam. Okay, and it's a really long word, but I only recently discovered that each word, like you could break it up into three sections. The word itself.
What language is it?
Um, it's so. Do you know Sanskrit?
Yes.
Yeah. So there's ties to Tamil, which I speak in Sri Lanka,
Right.
to Sanskrit. Um, and so a lot of Bharatanatyam is from like the Sanskrit language. Yeah. And so Bharatanatyam is basically three parts of like the beat, the music, and also the expressions. So we dance with a lot of eye movements, and it kind of like tells a story. And I thought that was really beautiful. But yeah,
Yeah.
so that's my fact.
Well, I want to thank you for your
Thank
time.
you.
Don't believe I've asked you for your name.
No, you haven't. I
What
don't
is
know
your
your
name?
name either.
My name is Jethro.
Okay, Jethro, nice to meet you. I'm Sengavi.
Sengavi, that's a
Yeah,
beautiful name.
thank you. And your name? Nato? Nato. Nice to meet you guys.
Thank you.
Very cool.
Well, yeah,